Welcome to our linear algebra series. Today we are going to explore vector operations in Euclidean space. If you have ever used a GPS, played a video game, or wondered how physicists track the motion of planets, you have already encountered the real-world applications of what we are about to learn. Let us dive in and build our understanding from the ground up. Before we look at the math, let us understand what a vector actually is and why it matters. Imagine giving a friend directions to a hidden treasure. You might tell them to walk 3 blocks east and then 4 blocks north. That set of instructions, which includes both a distance and a direction, is essentially a vector. When we talk about Euclidean space, we are simply referring to our normal, flat world, where standard geometry works perfectly, much like a piece of graph paper. In linear algebra, we formalize this idea by defining a vector as an ordered list of real numbers. The amount of numbers in that list tells us the dimension of our space. Now that we understand the concept, let us look at how we write this down mathematically. We represent a vector as a vertical column of numbers surrounded by brackets. In this formula, the symbol u with an arrow on top represents our vector. Inside the brackets, we have our ordered list of numbers, which we call the components of the vector. The symbols u1, u2, all the way down to un represent these individual numbers. The subscript tells us which axis the movement belongs to. For example, u1 is the movement along the first axis. As the number of dimensions increases, the list simply gets longer, but the underlying math remains exactly the same. With our mathematical notation in place, we can now introduce our first major operation, which is vector addition. Why do we need to add vectors? Well, imagine you take one path and then immediately take a second path. Vector addition is the mathematical tool that lets us figure out exactly where you end up overall. The rule is beautifully simple. We combine two vectors by adding their corresponding numbers together. In plain English, this means that horizontal movements are only ever added to other horizontal movements, and vertical movements are only added to other vertical movements. They never mix. This brings us to the exact formula for vector addition. Conceptually, this formula just formalizes the idea of combining independent movements. The symbols u and v represent the two vectors we want to combine. On the right side of the equal sign, you can see exactly how this works step by step. We take the first number of the first vector, u1, and add it to the first number of the second vector, v1. We repeat this simple addition for every single row, all the way down to the final row. If you increase the value of a component in the first vector, the final combined vector will stretch further in that specific direction. Before we move on, let us see this with a concrete example. Imagine a delivery drone flies 3 kilometers east and 4 kilometers north. Then a gust of wind pushes it 1 kilometer east and 2 kilometers south. We need to find the total final displacement of the drone. We choose vector addition because we are combining two consecutive movements. First, we write down both vectors in their bracket format. Notice that moving south is represented by a -2, which is the standard way to show opposite directions. Next, we group the numbers row by row, adding the eastward movements together on top and the northward and southward movements together on the bottom. Continuing with our calculation, we just need to perform basic arithmetic to simplify the numbers in each row. 3 plus 1 gives us 4, and 4 plus -2 gives us 2. This gives us our final resulting vector. Physically, this means the drone is ultimately 4 kilometers east and 2 kilometers north of its starting point. Even though the drone took a crooked two-part path, this single vector represents the direct, straight-line path from the start to the finish, which we often call the resultant vector. Now that we have mastered adding vectors, let us look at our second fundamental operation, which is scalar multiplication. Why is this important? Sometimes you do not want to change the direction of a movement. You just want to change its scale. A scalar is just a regular everyday number that resizes the vector without having any direction of its own. If you multiply a vector by a scalar, it is like walking the exact same path but going twice as far or half as far. Depending on the number you choose, you can stretch the vector, shrink it, or even flip it around to point in the exact opposite direction. This concept leads us directly to the formula for scalar multiplication. The math here is very straightforward. The letter C represents our scalar, which is just a plain number. The formula shows that to multiply a vector by a scalar, we must multiply every single component inside the vector by that number C. If C is a number larger than 1, the vector stretches and becomes longer. If C is a fraction between 0 and 1, the vector shrinks. And if C is a negative number, the vector flips and points in the opposite direction. Every dimension is scaled equally. Before we tackle a complex problem, let us visualize what these two operations actually look like. On the left side of this diagram, you see vector addition. The blue arrow is our first movement and the red arrow is our second movement, starting right where the first one ended. The purple dashed arrow is the result, showing the direct path from start to finish. On the right side, you see scalar multiplication. The green arrow represents our original vector. The orange arrow points in the exact same direction, but because it has been multiplied by a scalar of 2, it is exactly twice as long. This visual intuition is incredibly powerful. Now that we have a visual understanding, let us apply both operations together in a three-dimensional physics problem. Imagine a boat being pushed by two engines. We are given the force vector for the first engine and the force vector for the second engine. The captain cranks the second engine up to double its normal power, and we are asked to find the total combined force acting on the boat. We choose this strategy equation because we must first scale the second force by a factor of 2 and then add it to the first force. Here, we have substituted our actual given numbers into the brackets. Following the order of operations, our next step is to handle the scalar multiplication before the addition. We take the scalar of 2 sitting outside the second bracket and distribute it to every single number inside. The top component -2 is multiplied by 2, the middle component 4 is multiplied by 2, and the bottom component 1 is multiplied by 2. This ensures the entire force vector is scaled up uniformly in all directions. Simplifying those multiplications gives us our new doubled force vector for the second engine, which is -4, 8, and 2. This brings us to the final phase of our calculation. We now have two clean vectors ready to be added together. Because both vectors are in the same three-dimensional space, they have the same number of rows and can be added safely. We combine the two force vectors by adding their corresponding components. In the top row, we add 10 and -4. In the middle row, we add 5 and 8. And in the bottom row, we add 0 and 2. This step perfectly illustrates how independent dimensions are handled simultaneously in vector math. Finally, we complete the simple addition to get our result. This is our final answer, representing the total net force acting on the boat. Physically, the top number 6 means there is a net force of 6 newtons pushing along the first axis. The middle number 13 means there is a strong force of 13 newtons pushing along the second axis. The bottom number 2 means there is a slight upward force of 2 newtons along the third axis. By combining scalar multiplication and vector addition, we successfully merged multiple complex forces into one simple result. Now that we have used these formulas, let us understand why they are so crucial. Understanding vector operations in Euclidean space is the absolute foundation for almost all modern technology and physics. In computer graphics and video games, every character is made of thousands of points, which are just vectors. When a character moves or grows larger, the computer is rapidly performing millions of vector additions and scalar multiplications behind the scenes. In engineering, these operations are used to calculate how bridges handle weight or how airplanes fly through crosswinds. They are the tools we use to predict reality. To wrap up our lesson, let us review the key takeaways. First, vectors in Euclidean space are simply ordered lists of numbers that represent movements, forces, or directions. Second, vector addition allows us to combine multiple vectors by adding their corresponding numbers row by row. Third, scalar multiplication allows us to stretch, shrink, or reverse a vector by multiplying every number inside it by a single scaling factor. Together, these two simple operations form the building blocks for solving incredibly complex problems. You have now taken your first major step toward mastering the beautiful machinery of linear algebra.